It was 8 a.m. in Athens, mid-June, and the temperature was already pushing into the 90s. My Acropolis ticket wasn't until 4 p.m., so I stepped into the museum at 9. Thankfully, it's air-conditioned. The first thing I noticed was a light. Huge glass windows that flood the galleries and frame a sweeping view of the Acropolis. Sunlight glinted off the marble, and for a moment it felt close enough to touch. On the top floor, the museum recreates the Parthenon's sculptural layout, placing the surviving pieces in their original positions. Visitors can walk all the way around, just as the friezes once wrapped around the temple itself. The east side shows the gods of Olympus and scenes from the Pan-Athenaic procession, a grand festival honoring Athena. The west side depicts riders preparing for the celebration, their horses captured mid-motion in marble. Originally, 160 meters of sculpted frieze encircled the Parthenon. Today, only about 50 meters remain in Greece. The rest are scattered across museums in London, Paris, and elsewhere. The Parthenon had two pediments, the triangular spaces formed by its sloping roof. The east pediment shows Athena's dramatic birth from Zeus's head, witnessed by the gods. The west pediment depicts her contest with Poseidon, his saltwater spring against her olive tree, with Athens choosing Athena's gift and making her their patron. There are also sculptures and artifacts of Athena from the Acropolis that highlight how central she was to Athenian life. 5 of the original caryatids are in the museum, graceful stone maidens that once supported the porch of the Erechtheion, an ancient Athenian temple on the Acropolis. The ones still standing on the Acropolis are copies, but the ones in the museum are the original statues, still upright after 2,500 years. Each one has a distinct hairstyle and drapery, almost as if she holds her own personality in marble. The 6th original caryatid now resides in the British Museum in London. These figures reminded me of the granite sculptures found in South Indian temples. Their hair is just as intricate, braided, piled high in precise coils, and their clothing is layered and sculpted close to the body, with crisp pleats and ornamental belts carved in stone. Both traditions celebrate the human form with exquisite craftsmanship, yet each reflects the artistic ideals and spirit of its own time and culture. On the ground floor, the museum holds treasures from ancient Athens. Delicate pottery and even hairpins and combs worn centuries ago. Nearby, the outlines of old Athenian homes are still etched into the earth, offering a quiet glimpse into everyday life long past. After the museum, I wandered through Plaka's narrow streets, lined with tiny shops and balconies spilling over with bright flowers. I slipped into the church of Panagia Kapnikaria, an 11th century Byzantine church with a cool, dim interior, smelled faintly of incense. A quiet pause before stepping back into the sun. A few streets over, the 74th Primary School caught my eye. Built in the 1870s as Athens' first public school, it educated notable figures from Greek politics, science, and culture. The school building has been recognized as a protected monument by the Hellenic Ministry of Culture for its neoclassical design. A short walk uphill brought me to Syntagma Square and the Hellenic Parliament. Crowds gathered as the ebb zones, members of the Presidential Guard, dressed in traditional uniforms with white kilts called fustanella, red caps with black tassels, and seduhi, which are leather shoes with large pom-poms, marched with slow, deliberate steps. The changing of the guard happens at the tomb of the unknown soldier, honoring Greek soldiers whose names are lost to time. Like the tomb of the unknown soldier in Washington, D.C., the one in Athens is also a place of respect and quiet reflection. By 4 o'clock, my assigned ticket time, sun was blazing, about 98 degrees, but time to climb the Acropolis. The Acropolis, from the Greek akron, highest point, and polis, city, a fortified hill that served as a spiritual and political heart of ancient Athens. The Acropolis wasn't just a vantage point. It was a sanctuary, a treasury, and a symbol of civic pride. I entered through the south side and stopped at the theatre of Dionysos, where Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, 429 BCE, and Medea by Euripides, 431 BCE were first performed. Stories of fate, revenge, and human passion that still resonate today. With every upward turn, I could see more of the city spread out below. A few more steps led me to the Odeon of Herodes Atticus, a Roman-era theatre still used for concerts today. Its stone seats and elegant arches look timeless against the bright sky, a space built to honor art and memory, still grand even in ruins. The path gets steeper, and then the gateway to the Acropolis comes into view. The Propylaea. Built in the 5th century BCE, it isn't just an entrance. It marks the shift from the everyday city to the sacred space of the Acropolis. Just before stepping through, I paused. Off to the right, perched on a stone platform, is the temple of Athena Nike. Small and elegant, it was built during the Peloponnesian War as a symbol of hope and a prayer for victory. I caught my breath and walked through the columns into the very heart of the Acropolis. And there it was, the Parthenon. The Parthenon rose between 447 and 438 BCE, commissioned by Pericles during Athens' golden age. It was built to honor Athena, the city's patron goddess, and to showcase the power and artistry of the Athenian Empire. Even in ruins, the Acropolis is massive and commanding. Its columns rise like silent guardians, bathed in golden light. Some are patched with brighter marble, fresh cuts from Mount Pentelic, about 16 kilometers northeast of Athens. the same quarry that supplied stone 2,500 years ago. The marble's fine grain and faint golden glow shimmer beautifully under the Athenian sun. In ancient Athens, hauling these massive blocks was done by pure human effort. Workers cut them from the quarry and dragged them across rugged terrain using sledges, rollers, ropes, and carts. No cranes, no forklifts, only determination and sheer effort. This reminds me of the Chola temples in South India, built about 1,000 years ago, where enormous granite blocks were transported long distances to create monumental temples. The Acropolis is even older, yet both civilizations achieved astonishing feats of engineering, making these ancient structures endlessly fascinating. The ancient Athenian engineers didn't just stack stones at the Acropolis. They orchestrated a masterpiece. Each block was fitted with iron clamps and dowels, sealed in molten lead. The lead wasn't just filler. It absorbed vibrations and protected the iron from rust, a kind of ancient seismic insulation. Up close, the precision is staggering. Some blocks are held by metal, others balanced so perfectly they've stayed in place for centuries. The columns aren't perfectly straight. They bulge slightly in the middle, a technique called Entasis, which makes them appear straight to the human eye and helps distribute weight. The Stylobate, or the platform, isn't flat either. It curves gently upward. These subtle tweaks weren't just artistic flourishes. They made the structure more stable and earthquake resistant. In the center of the Parthenon once stood the colossal statue of Athena Parthenos, about 12 meters tall, made of gold and ivory. Crafted by Phidias, the master sculptor of classical Greece, Athena held Nike, a symbol of victory, in one hand and a shield in the other, flanked by a serpent. She was more than a statue. She was the embodiment of Athenian identity. Today, the original statue of Athena no longer stands in the Parthenon. Possibly taken to Constantinople in the 5th century CE, her fate remains uncertain. What survives are Roman copies and modern reconstructions. Nearby is the Erechtheion, with its famous porch of the caryatids. The statues here are copies, but their grace is still undeniable. The originals in the museum are protected from weather, and when you have seen them both, you realize just how much detail time and weather can erase. After the Persian Wars, 490 to 479 BCE, Athens rebuilt the Acropolis as a statement of resilience and cultural supremacy. In 1687, a Venetian shell hit the Parthenon, then a gunpowder depot under Ottoman rule, triggering an explosion that obliterated much of the ancient temple and its priceless sculptures. In the early 20th century, iron was used without lead coating. Iron corroded, expanded, and cracked the marble. Now conservators are replacing the iron clamps with titanium, a metal that resists corrosion and preserves the integrity of the stone. They are also restoring missing sections with new Pentelic marble, carefully carved to match the originals. The Acropolis has stood for centuries, but now it faces new threats: heat waves, sudden downpours, and acid rain caused by air pollution. Sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides from vehicles, factories, and power plants mix with rainwater to form acids that slowly dissolve the calcium carbonate in the marble, chipping away the ancient stones. Restoration teams have been working tirelessly for decades, but climate change is speeding up the damage. Even Greece's most iconic monument isn't safe. Walking down under the scorching sun, legs aching, I couldn't stop thinking about how they built all this 2,500 years ago. Centuries of wars, explosions, earthquakes, and changes in climate have left the Acropolis a ruin. But somehow, it's still the soul of Athens, connecting the past to the present. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment for more stories. Happy learning. Thank you.